Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Updalytics. If this is your first time watching my video, remember to subscribe, like, and share. For those of you who have been watching and are yet to subscribe, remember to subscribe, like, and share. Also, you can comment if you have any issue, you need some support from me, just let me know. Okay, so when you look at the screen here, you can see it's a simple call center performance. On the top, we have the filters. I just added 2 of them. If you get a data which I'm going to make available, you can add as many as you want. This is for learning purposes, and I'm sure all of us will learn some 1 or 2 things from this. Okay, so on this side, I have my KPIs, and then you can see the calls, current versus previous month, and the percentage growth. Then you see the trend here, and then on this side, you can see the minimum and the maximum. The same thing applies to the resolution rate, current, previous, and then we have the trend, and so on and so forth. So we have average talk time, average speed of answer. On this side, I have the answered versus unanswered calls. You can see the percentages and the number of calls that have been answered and unanswered. Here we have the calls by department. You can see fridge department has the highest call. I'm going to also show you how this is done. I'm sure some of you might have seen it. And then on this side, I have the hourly traffic. So you can see our busiest time is 1 p.m. Our busiest day is Wednesday. So if you look at it here, you can see Wednesday here. And our busiest time period is afternoon. Okay, so I'm also going to show how I managed to determine my afternoon. So you can also look at it, you can change it the way you want, and that's fine. Satisfaction index here. So the average satisfaction score is 3.38. So you can see the stars here representing the 3.38. The number of rating, you can see it here. Also, I'm going to show you how this part is also done. Then the top performer, I use the new card for this. And then you can see the agent performance here. So we have the list of all agents and their performances. So for Becky, for example, we have the number of calls, which is 212. Answered calls percentage 80%. Resolution rate is 72%. Average speed of answer. And then down here I have her email, the telephone number, and the location or address. The same thing for the rest of them. We have quite a number of them down here, and I'm also going to show you how I use the new card to do this here. Okay, so without wasting too much time, I think we can now start. So I'm going to open my new Power BI desktop instance, and I want to just import the data. So let's quickly get the data. Okay, so for the data, we select data here and then agent image. Okay, so let's go to transform data. Okay, very good. So this is our first table, which is the main table. Okay, so we have call ID, date here, the call date. We have the agent, the department, whether the call has been answered or not, whether the call has been resolved or not, the speed of answer, average talk duration, and then the satisfaction rating. When you look at this, it's kind of a bit interesting. So you can see the data has been added to it, but what we are interested in is the minute and the second here. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do is I want to split this. So what I'll do is to go to add column, just to make sure I can add another column that has only the time. Okay, so I have the call time here. I can drag it all the way to this side. Okay, so let's just leave it here. So I have the call time here, and then for this I want to maintain only the date, and then this I'm going to just rename it to call date. Okay, so call time, call date. Now for the call time, I want to extract only the hour. So just select it, and then you go to transform, or we can still leave the colon and then just add another colon and says okay, so just give me the hour. Now we have the hours here. Okay, so that should be fine. So that can be named call hour, but it's okay. Now the most interesting part of it is this. So what we need to do first is to select this. I'll go to add colon, and then I'll just say give me only the minute. So I have the minute, and then I'll click again and say give me only the second. Okay, the rest do not really matter. The 12 we have here is supposed to be 0000. Okay, so what we are going to do now is that we want the average talk duration to be in seconds. So let me just select this. I'll go to transform, go to standard, and then click multiply. Now I want to multiply it by 60 because it's in minute and I want it in second. Okay, so we have this now. Now I want to add the two, so minute plus second to get the average talk in second the way I want it. That's the duration. So now that I have these two, what I want to do is to go to add colon, go to custom colon, and then here what I'll do is just average talk duration, average talk duration. Okay, so and then what I'll do is the minute plus the second, and then I have it this way, average talk duration. Now you can see that 120 second plus 23.21 is 143.21. So what I'll do is I just want to, let me change this one to decimal number for now, and this should be okay for now. Now I can take out these two columns, so let me just remove them and see if that's okay. Okay, so let's go to agent image. In agent image you can see the column names are here, so let me just go to home. I'll go to use first row as headers, so you can see we have these headers. Now we have quite a number of now. These ones are picked from the Excel file. So what I want to do is to just take it out and then click OK, and this is what I have. And what does this have? We have the agent name, the image, the phone number, the email, and then the address. Okay, so I think we are done here. Let's just close and apply. Okay, so now what we need to do is to go to the model view to check if everything is okay. So you can see the agent image has been linked to the data. Now I want to change this to call underscore data. That's okay, you can give it any name you want, and this is what we have. Now the next thing we do, for those of you who have been watching my videos, you know the next is to create the calendar table. So let's go to calendar, and then I'll just copy and paste it here. So we are going to create a new table, and then in that we just paste this, which I also make available. I'm sure those of you who have been watching have this already. And what is it doing is getting the minimum call date, the maximum call date is using that to create a date column, and then we subtract the year from the date column, the month, the day, the month number, the weekday, and the weekday number. So I press enter, and then we have our calendar created. So you can see starting from 2015. Okay, so this should be okay. Now let's go back to our model view and see if our calendar is here. It's okay. So now let's link the date, the calendar date, to our call date in the call data table. So you can see one too many, then we click save. So this is okay now. Now let's go to our report view. The first thing I want to do, I change the size of the background. So let's first go here, the formatting. I'll go to canvas settings. So let's go to custom. Then instead of 720, I use 800. So this first one is overview, and then the second one is agent performance. Okay, so for agent performance also, I'm using custom, then I'll make it 800. This looks okay now. Now the next thing we need to do is I want to change the view. I want to customize the view. So customize the current theme. Sorry, it's supposed to be theme. So the first color I want to use, I have it somewhere here, and I'll make it this. The second one I want to use, okay, and the third one is okay. So this is what I want to use, and aside that, let me go to advanced and see test. I want the font of my test should be the first one I used earlier, so let me just select this. The title should be okay, maybe segue. Okay, card and KPIs, the font size, let's leave it this way. Tab headers, that's okay. The visuals, I want them to be transparent. The border should be fine. Header tooltip, the page should be also be transparent. No, that's the wallpaper. The page background should also be transparent, and then I think that's okay for now. Okay, so now I have the background image somewhere which I'm going to bring. So let's just browse this, get the images. So this is for overview. I have it here. Instead of normal, I make it fit. And then for agent performance as well, I have it here. Instead of normal, I make it fit. Okay, so I think we are good here now. The next thing I want to do is to create the metrics table where I'll be putting my metrics, and I'm sure those of you who have been watching, you know about this already. So let's just click load. And now to fast track this video, because time is not on my side, what I want to do is to just copy all the metrics from the existing one into this. So what I have to do is to go to TMDL, and then when I go to TMDL, I just have to drag and drop this metrics table here, copy, and then I'll come and paste it here. Okay, so it's been copied already, so I just have to copy and paste it here. So let's go to TMDL first. For those of you who don't have this version, what you can do is I'll also be showing the metrics as we are moving along, so that you can just type it. Okay, so let me drag and drop this metric here. There's nothing in it, it just has colon 1 or something. Let's check. Yeah, so what I want to do is to just select all, replace it with what I copy from the other side, then I'll just click apply. Very good. So when you click here now, let's see if we have all our metrics. Yeah, we have our metrics here. Yeah, this one is giving an error. I'm sure it's about name. So for those of you watching and going to try the same thing, just watch. Maybe it's the name. I will also make this available to those of you who are going to buy the template, but those of you who want to type it, that's okay also. So average talk duration could be the issue. So let's go to our report view. I think we are done with our TMDL. So average talk duration, when I go there, you can see the column name is not the same as what I have earlier. So let's just type average talk duration. Okay, and then I press enter. There is an error here, and this also. Then I press enter, and that should be able to resolve the rest. Okay, so I think we are ready now. Don't worry, I'll be showing some of the metrics as we are moving. Now, when you look at this, this interestingly is a text box, not a card. And that is what I'm going to show you. And the moment I show this alone, then you can use the same to do the rest. But I also show the metrics as we are moving. Okay, so first let me bring in my filter. So let's go to the button slicer. It's here. So what I have to do is to go to my calendar and go to month, select month, so you can see February, January, March. So we just have to sort it. So select the column and say sort by month number. And this is how I did it. So I remove the title and then I just did a bit of formatting. So we can just copy this from here. I also copy the department so we can speed up. Then copy this text box also. Okay, so the department, look at it. I pick it from the call data department. So you can see department here. That's what I chose here. So it's selected for this one. I've shown it already. It's from the month. Okay, so let's start with our design. Now, this is what we have in calls. So when I click calls, you can see we are just counting the number of rows in the call data to get calls. Okay, now how do we get the previous month calls? So we use the calculate function and then with the previous month, and then we pass the calendar date. So this is for the previous month. We have the calls answered, how many calls were answered, so you can see calculate. So we are filtering the calls by answered yes, and then call answered percentage. So we have call answered already, we just divide it by the total number of calls. Call unanswered, just like call answered, you can see we are now filtering it by no, that's N for no. And then for percentage, we just did call unanswered, we divide it by the total number of calls. Okay, now we have calls growth. What are we doing here? We are doing the calls minus calls previous month division calls previous month, and then the calls growth sign. This one is just checking if the calls growth percentage is greater than 0. If yes, give us this arrow here. The unique is for this arrow, whether down or up. Okay, and then we have the cost max value. I'm also going, yeah, so I think I've explained some of these things in my previous videos. And then the cost minimum value. Okay, yeah, so this should be fine. Then we return check. Okay, so that's it. That's all about calls. Now we can go and bring in our text box. So I'm bringing in the text box. Okay, and then what I'll type first is calls. And then down here, let's that be visible. Okay, down here, then we select calls. Because it's a text box, just click, you select the text box, you go to value. Okay, just look for calls. Yeah, sometimes when you're doing it for the first time, you have to close, try it again, close, try it again before it comes. So calls, make sure the symbol, then you click save. Now we have the number of calls down here, and then I want to have the calls previous month also. So I'll go back to add dynamic value to the text box, and then here I'll just type calls, then it's bringing in the calls previous month. Then you click save. We have the calls previous month. I'll put, just separate it. Now this is the time to bring in the calls growth sign. So cost. If it's not coming, just click show more here, and then we have cost growth sign. Okay, then we click OK, so you can see. Then I'll give it a space. Then I'll just bring in also the cost growth percentage. Show more cost growth percentage, and then let's make sure it's in percentage, and then you click save. Okay, so this is not in percentage yet. Let me just click here, and then I'll click percentage here. Then I click OK. Then we have this. Now this looks okay. We bring it to the top. Now because I want to put the image here, I can push the cost all the way to the middle. So let's just bring in the image quickly. So insert, take image. So I'll just use this for cost. Make it smaller. Then I'll put it somewhere here. Then for the label here, just push it to the middle a bit, so I can bring it back like this. Now let's make this bigger. So 20 should be fine. This also, let's say 14. This should also be maybe all of them should just be 14 down here. Okay, so we can just type versus previous month. This versus previous month can be smaller. So let's say 12. Okay, so now this can be bolder. Then we are good. So just using text box, you can use the new card just like I've been doing in many of my videos. Okay, so let's also bring in the trend. So I'll use the line chart. Okay, and what I want to do is to use course for the y-axis, and then I'll go to calendar, and then I'll use day for the x-axis, so you can see it here. And let's format it quickly. Okay, so I don't need the title here. The value should be off. The title should also be off for the x-axis. I'll do the same thing for y-axis as well. Okay, so let's now take it up here. This looks too big. You can reduce the size, maybe 12. This should be okay. And then what I want to do for this is to resize this, change the width to 2. Okay, and now when I put my cursor on it, it shows 3 and a number of cores. Now 3 does not really make sense, so let's add a tooltip, and that tooltip will have the weekday here. Okay, so weekday, Tuesday, so it's giving the date all the way to 28th. Okay, so 28th is a Saturday. Here we can just say weekday. Okay, now the next thing is to bring in the highest and the lowest. Okay, so that is why I created the cost mean value, and what it's doing is to loop through and get the minimum value based on the calendar day. Okay, so let's just check it here. I'll select the day that I use, and then I'll add the calls. I don't want this to be summarized. You can see now for each one of them all the way to 28. Okay, so what I want to do is to bring in the loop that I created. So let's add the cost mean value, and then you can see it's only highlighting. Let's click here to sort it. It's only highlighting the lowest, which is 36. Okay, and the same thing is done for maximum. It will loop through. If it gets to the maximum, it will just highlight it. Okay, so let's take this out now. Then I can go to my y-axis here, add the minimum, and then add the call maximum. Okay, so you can see it's highlighting now the maximum and the minimum. Now we don't need the legend, so we should be good here. Okay, so there should be something that shows that, okay, so this is for minimum, this is for maximum. Okay, so I want to use here is to just say, okay, so min and then max, but we need to add a dot, and that is why I'll use this Unicode. So here I'll just type circle. So let's go for something like this, and I'll copy it. Once I copy, I'll just come and paste it here to the main, and then here push it a bit further, and then this is going to be for max. Now let's change the color. So for min, we know the color already, and then for max, we also know the color. Okay, so let me resize this, then I can put it here. Okay, now you can see everything is clear, and I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of the camera. Okay, see, I have done the same thing for resolution rate, average talk time, and then average speed answer. So let's look at each one of them. When I select the resolution rate, we are to bring in the resolution rate from here. So let's go here. First of all, I calculated the resolved calls. So you can see I'm calculating the total calls and then filtering it by, I'm filtering the total calls by the resolved where it is yes. So this means that this call has been resolved. Okay, and then after that you go to resolution rate. So the resolution rate is calculated by dividing the resolved call by the total number of calls. And then here the resolution rate growth, the same process I use for calls. So what I did was to calculate the previous month resolution. Okay, you can see the same thing I did for calls, how I calculated calls previous month. And then when you come to the growth, what it does is the resolution rate minus that of previous month division that of previous month, and then the growth sign, the same thing we did for the previous one for calls. Then here I got the maximum, I did the same thing for calls as well. Here also I did the minimum, same thing for calls. And then down here I've already shown that that's the previous month. So, and that is what I use here. Okay, then now let's go to, let's also check this. So what you could have done was to just copy and paste this, and then you just change them to resolution rate minimum value, and then maximum value. Now let's look at average talk time. So let's go to average talk time. So I have that here. Talk duration is here. So average talk duration, I just use the average function against the talk duration column that I created. Okay, and then here I didn't want to show it direct what I'm getting, so let me just click here for us to see what I have. So if you use this one, it's not converted. It's going to be 228 second 0.25. Okay, it will not make too much sense to the end user. So what I did was to create another measure, and through that measure I got the total second, which is this, and then the whole second I use int for that to get the number of second var minutes quotient, okay, division 60 of this, and then down here I just formatted the minute and added some m just to show that the first part is for minute, and then s to show that the second part is for second, and this gave me 3 minutes 48 seconds. Okay, and I did the same thing for the previous month. So let's go through each one of them. Growth is the same thing. Growth sign, same thing I did earlier for calls, and then maximum value same, minimum value same. Okay, so if you want to type it, you can just pause your video and type it. Talk duration, we have PM, that's the previous month, the same thing I did. And then I converted the previous month, also just like I converted the current month. Okay, I think that is all, and that's what I did here. Okay, but mind you, for this, you don't need to use the converted one, you use the normal one. Okay, so average speed of answer. So let's check our average speed of answer, what we have here. So average speed of answer, just average of this column, speed of answer. And we calculated the previous month, just like I did for calls. And then the growth also the same thing. Growth sign, the same thing. I also did the same for maximum value, same for minimum value, so I could use it here. I think we are good here. If you have any question, you are stuck, just let me know. I'll also make the whole file or template available on Shopify if you want to buy and just modify it the way you want it. Okay, so we are done with the first part. Now let's check the second one. And this, we already have the answered versus unanswered, so I'm going to do this also quickly, this also, and this. So let's continue. Okay, so I'll bring in a donut quickly. So answered, let's go to calls, answered, unanswered. Okay, so this is what we have. I can copy this, paste it down here, so I can use it later. So now let's format it. We go to the formatting tool. No title, no legend. For those of you who don't want to do it the way I did it, you can just stop here. Okay, so you can just leave it like this. Okay, you give it a title, so you just say answered versus unanswered calls. Okay, you can just then you make this one 12, and you can leave it this way and format the numbers the way you want. Okay, but for those of you who want to do it the way I did it, that's okay. Sometimes it's for learning purpose. Okay, so let's take out the title. We off the legend. Okay, the detail labels also, we don't need them. Now the slices, what I want to do is to make it maybe 85. Okay, yeah. Now I'm using this one for the answered. So for unanswered, let's make it this color, or we can make it white. Okay, so this is going to be here. Okay, we can make it a bit bigger. Is it too big? Okay, so this should be fine, so we can have the title somewhere there. Okay, so now let me copy and paste again. And then in this case, I'll use the right color for it, and then I'll use this for the other side. So we can just resize it and put it in the middle here. Okay, very good. Now the next thing I need to do quickly, title off, this also off. The legend, I will not need a title. I'll just bring it down, bottom center. Okay, so you can do it this way. And then you put it on top here. Now let's rename this to be answered. Press enter. Unanswered. Okay, so now you can just reduce it and put it here. Okay, now we still want to have the number of calls in between, even though we have it somewhere here. You can decide to leave it. So let's make this 15. Isn't it too small? Okay, so let's say 20, and then we put it here. Okay, so we have the number of calls there. This side we'll bring in the number of answered and unanswered calls. So answered calls, so I want to use text box for it. Okay, so I'll now go to value calls answered. Select it, make it maybe 14. Then we put it right under this. Okay, and then we do the same thing for the rest. So let me just copy and paste this one. So this is going to be for an answered call. Okay, I'll just click on it, go here, clear this, then calls unanswered, then click OK. So we have this one here. I'll paste again. That's for percentage. And then how did I calculate the percentage? I think I showed that earlier also. Okay, so I'll just click here. You can clear it if you are not sure. Percentage. Okay. You see, and then we do the same thing for this also. Just click here, we are replacing it. So unanswered calls, unanswered percentage. Count this and make it percentage. We click OK, so you can see 20%. Now because we have different colors for them, you can decide to change the color of this to match this, and also the color of this to match this. Okay, so let's quickly work on the calls by department. So I'll bring this one down here. So calls by department, so calls, and then we are going to call data table, and then we select department. Okay, so let's format it. No title for y-axis, no title for x-axis. If you drag it well, the title will be enabled, and then no value for that. Okay, so we can decide to use the data label, and that is fine. So let's resize it and see what it gives us. Now if you want to stop here, that is fine. If you want to stop and make sure this is shown, just go to, I think it's y-axis, and then you increase this one, then you can see it's showing here. Okay, but we don't want to use this. So what we want to do is to make it this way. For those of you who want to make it this way, then you can watch. If you don't want to watch it this way, then you can just fast track the video. Okay, so what do we want to do? Let's create another measure, and that measure is called header. Look at it. I created a measure called header, then I made it 1. Okay, so I'm going to add that measure to the x-axis here. So header will be on top here. Okay, so you can see, and header is showing 1 for all. Now I'll replace that 1 with the selected department. So I created another measure called selected department. And what is that doing for me? It is using the department calls percentage. Look at this. So this should be able to give me the percentage of each department. And how are we supposed to know? So let's bring this one here, the table here. Okay, so for this table, I'll bring in the department. That's number 1. And then I'll go and select calls. Okay, so we have this now. Let's just make sure it's in descending order. And we select department calls percentage. You can see starting from 21%. So fridge has 21% of all the calls, you see. And that is why I created this here. So you can see it's dividing calls. Okay, and then you can see we are using the calculate function here, okay, to only make sure it has to do with only department. Okay, so we can take this out. So we have this now. What I want to do is that I'll put the selected department here. So if you look at the selected department, we formatted the department cost percentage. Okay, and then here I added this separator, then I added the selected value, which is the selected department. So here what we do is, for us to replace the 1 with this, what we do is to go to data labels. We make sure header is selected. We go to value, and then I'll just drag and drop this here. You can see 20%, 20.8% for fridge and stuff. Okay, now what we need to do is to merge the 2 columns. So let's go here, let's go to bars, make sure all is selected. You go to layout, and then you make sure overlap is selected. Okay, so let's play with this. You can see with overlap, you can see it is in between. Then we can reduce this. I think we just have to increase it. Okay, then let's go resize it. After resizing, let's go and do a bit of formatting. Legend off. Okay, the title should be, maybe let's make it 12. Okay, and then it should be calls by header, by department. And then here let's change the color of the bar, so it has to do with calls, and the color should be this. Then we go to the data labels and make sure the value is white. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we need to sort it by calls. This is it. Now we can bring in the data labels. So to do that, let's go to calls and data labels. Then what we do is to say inside end. It's not showing because it's too small. The bar is too small. So let's go to bars again. Make sure all is selected. Okay, and we can, yeah, this one. Okay, so let's say 20 should be fine. Okay, so we are good. Now let's add that round edge. So for that, I've done it in many of my videos. Let's go to error bars. Calls is selected. We enable it. Then we bring in calls as upper bound. You can see something is showing here. Let's go to bar. We make the border size 0. We go to marker, and also the bar color should be this color. We go to marker, round, then we can increase it to 10 and see what it gives us. Okay, so this looks super. Now the next thing is to work on hourly traffic. So let's quickly do that, hourly traffic. So for that I use metrics. I've used this in one of my videos. I think that has to do with the hospital. Okay, so number one, we are using the hour as column. So I want them to be on top. You can see 9 all the way to 18. And then I want the day, that's the weekday, to be the row. Okay, and the value should be calls. Look at it. Okay, so let's format this quickly. First of all, the weekday, I don't need it. The totals should be off. Okay, so that gives us enough space. Okay, and then what do we need to do here? Let's continue with our formatting. So layout in style preset, it should be none. Okay, let's go to grid. Border, select column header, it should be taken off. Row header should be off. Yeah, I think we are good now. So now cell element is where we go. Color is selected, background color, and then font color. But I don't want us to use these colors, so let's go here. Okay, so we'll select this, and then for this we'll select the lighter one, and we do the same thing for the font color. Select this color, and we go for the lighter one. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, so we can just leave those horizontal grid line, and then the vertical grid line, we just make sure they are white. Okay, this is also white. Very good. So this is what we have. Okay, but if you want to show the numbers, yeah, just go and turn off this particular one. Okay, so we are not done yet. Let's add this, and this time we are looking at Friday. We are looking at the days. Look at this, it's starting from Friday. Interesting. So there is one more sorting we need to do. Let's go to calendar. Weekday should be sorted by weekday number. So weekday is selected, you just come to sort by weekday number. Okay, so you can see it's now sorting from Monday. So we are going to use the same weekday here. So I'll select weekday. Okay, and I'll select calls. So look at it here, starting from Monday to Sunday. So if we put it here, we know which day has the highest call. So let's format it quickly. Title should be turned off. Title for the y-axis, the value also should be turned off. The x-axis off. Okay, then we can just resize this. Resize this. Okay, to be here. Oh, so we can push this a bit here. This will come here. Okay, we can reduce it further. Now for it to have almost the same size, because this side is just too small, what I will do is to go to grid. The horizontal one, maybe I should make it 2. Okay, make it 3. We are looking a bit close. Okay, so you can play with it, and let's also work on the color. Okay, so now I want to use the same thing for the hours. Let's watch this carefully. Legend should be off. Now I'll replace the, let's change it to this. Okay, I'll replace the weekday by hours. Okay, so this is it. This is how it should be. Okay, so you can see 9, 10, 11, all the way to 17, 18. So it can be on top here. Some prefer to put it on top. Okay, and then others prefer to put it down. Okay, but I want to flip it, and that is why I created another one measure, which is calls negative. Yeah, I just multiply calls by -1, and that's what I'm going to use instead of calls. So calls negative is what I'll use here, you see. So now you can just bring it here. Okay, let me resize this. No, sorry. Okay, something like this. I think 10 is okay. Now I'll go to the table. You just have to play with this. I'll go to the table, and the vertical grid line, let me add some. Okay, so it's looking a bit closer. Okay, so just resize it this way. That's fine. And this also, let me just resize it, the width to be 310. 38. Okay, 39 should be fine. Okay, 310. That's okay. Okay, at least you have an idea how this is done. Now we want to bring in the highest busiest time, busiest day, and then busiest time period. So busiest time first. Busiest time, I'll bring in the card. I'll select time. So I'll select the call time. Okay, and what I'll do is to go to filter. Okay, I'll drag call time here and say okay, filter it, give me the top one by calls, and you can see 11, 12, 28 a.m. but I don't want to use the minute and the second. So let's go back to transform. And then for call time, I'll just select it, and then I'll just say either transform. I want to maintain the colon maybe for anyone who wants to use it later. So we'll just go here, and then we go to time and just say start of hour. So you can see this is what we have here, start of hour. And also for the busiest time period, there is a conditional colon that I need to create. So I'll just go here, and for conditional colon, I'll just say time period. That's what I will use for the busiest time period. So I want us to create it right away before we go. So we use hour and say if it is less than 12, we say it is in the morning, add clause, hour is less than 17, we say afternoon, hour is less than 21, we say evening, and then else we just say night. Then we click OK. So that should be fine. So this is going to be a text. Then we go to home, close and apply. Okay, so now that we are back here, so instead of using the call time, I'll just use hour. No, sorry, not hour. Start of hour. I should have renamed it, but this is okay. So you can see top end. We start again. So I've selected hour, start of hour. I selected, I think that's all. So now let's go here. I'll just drag and drop it here. I want to maintain only the top end. Okay, by calls. Apply. So 1 p.m. is the busiest time. So what we do is to come here and just rename this one to busiest time. So this now, what I can do is to resize the value to be 15. Okay, maybe bold. 20 should be fine. And then the category label, I can leave it as it is. So we have this now, which should be down here. Okay, then I'll do the same thing for the day. Okay, so let's try that for the day. The day is here. I'll select the weekday. Okay, then I'll go to filter. I'll just drag and drop the weekday again here. Select top and top one. Then I drag the calls here. Okay, and apply. Wednesday is the busiest time. Let's resize this, or I can just select this guy, go to format painter, come here and do the same thing for him. So you can see from what we have so far that Wednesday is actually the busiest day. So look at it, Wednesday is here, is the busiest day, the number of calls. Then we have 1 p.m. here, that's 13, so you can see. So let's rename this one to busiest day. And that of time period, we bring in another card again. Let's bring in another card. And then for the time period, let's go and select time period. Okay, so I'll drag and drop the time period again. Select top and 1 based on the calls. So we have this one here, apply. Okay, so afternoon is the busiest time. Okay, so let me select this format and then I click, so I don't have to redo it. So we can just drag and drop here. It looks like the writing is too big for our space. So let's do this. 1. This can be 10. This will be 15. This should be 15. Okay, so this will also be 15. This can be 10. Then for this also 10. Okay. So we have this now. Okay, so this looks good. Now let's jump to our satisfaction index. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, let's go to satisfaction. index, we haven't seen that yet. Average satisfaction, I don't know if I've shown that one. You can see average and then the column that has the satisfaction rating. Okay, so let me drag and drop that, or let me just select it. Okay, so we have that here. The category label can be off. Okay, now we need to bring in our stars. And how did I do that? Let's check again. For the average satisfaction star rating, yeah, I did that in one of my videos. So you can see I'm rounding the average satisfaction that we just used to 0 decimal place. So here, what we are doing is to check if it is equal to 1, give us this. Okay, if it is 2, give us this. If it is 3, give us this. If it is 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go back here, and for that I just have to click star rating, and then we have it like this. Okay, we don't need a category label. Can resize it. This can be 35 maybe. This should be maybe 35 also. We can change the color to this also. Use the same color for this guy. Okay, so we have that. Now we need to bring in the number of rating, and then we have that here, satisfaction rating count. So it's just counting the number of satisfaction rating. Okay, so I'm using a text box for that. Okay, so let me drag and drop my text box here, and then I'll click value. Then I'll go to satisfaction rating count. I have it here. Format it. Then you click OK. So that's it. And I'll just add ratings to it. Okay, so I'll make it a bit bigger. Let's say 12. Okay, 12 for the rating, and then this particular one should be bigger. Let's say 18. Then let's center it. Okay, this is it. Now the next one is this part that we are going to do. Quite an interesting one. So first, let me bring in a table, and then in my table, what I need to do first is to bring in the satisfaction rating. Okay, I don't want it summed. So we have from 1 to 5, and I'll bring in the rating count. No, sorry, the star rating. So we have this here. Okay, I want it to start from 5, so in descending order. Okay, so we have this now. Let's format the table. Okay, so none here. This, you put a space. This also, you put a space. The total should be off. And this can be here. We'll make it bigger, so just a minute. The number should come to this side. Okay, so for the lines that we are seeing there, we don't want that, so we go to border, column header, we turn it off. Value session, okay, that is off. Total session, we don't have any total. And then the header, I want it to have a particular color that I use close to the background. So let's see if this works. Yeah, so now we should be okay. I can now make the, let's go to specific column. Okay, select any one of them. I wanted to make the, yeah, so it should be value, sorry. So I wanted to make it bigger. Okay, 12 should be fine. Let's make it bold and see. Okay, we can leave it this way. Use this color, this also. Very good. So now let's bring in our bar chart, and this also should follow this sequence from 5 to 1. So number 1, we'll select the satisfaction rating. Okay, and then the next one is to select the count. Okay, so we put it in y-axis, so you can see it's starting from 5 to 1. The title will go off. Title y-axis, value also off. X-axis values, title also off. Then we can just put it here. Is it well aligned? Kind of. So you just drag and drop this. Let it get closer. Okay, so now we'll add the data label. Now what I want to also do is to show, if you look at this, it's showing the highest and the minimum. Okay, so there is a measure for that. Let's go to check satisfaction min max, so you can see it here, just like the others that we use max and min separate. Now here is the same process. So we are calculating the max, we are calculating the min, and then here we are using the switch to check if the rating count is equal to the minimum value. If it is, give us this color. If it is the maximum value, give us this color, else give us this. Okay, so what I will do is to make sure the bar chart is selected. I'll go to bars, conditional formatting. I'll make sure field is selected here, and I will look for min max satisfaction. Yeah, min max. Then I click OK, and this is what we have. Now I realize that this is not showing, it's not that visible. So what I did was to just give them borders so we can see that there's something there. Okay, yeah, so this is it. Now the next one is the card. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, instead of doing just this, I can go here, do this one, then we'll just copy and paste it on the first page. Okay, so let's go, let's start. Ready? I think you guys are okay. So let's get our new card. Yes. Now number 1, we bring in the agent. So we have the agent details here. So I'll put the agent in categories, and then I'll put the agent again in data. Look at what we have. Okay, now make sure it's selected again. Let's go to images. I'll make sure first agent is selected, image turned on, image URL, then conditional formatting. I'll go and look for image. So agent image, then I click OK. So you can see the image on your right side. Okay, so let's give it a size 100. No, not 10, 100. Okay, and then we move the image to the left of the text. Okay, so after this, what we need to do next is to change this label to the score. So let's go to our callout values. The callout values, we can reduce it to 5. The color can be this for all of them. Then let's go to label. Okay, in that label, we can use we make sure first agent is selected. Once done, you see this auto here. You go to conditional formatting, and then you look for the star average satisfaction star rating. Okay, so you click OK. You can see it's showing here. Now we want to bring it down, so it should be below the value. Look at this. Now we can increase, we can resize it. No, this is not the one. Let's make it 8. This is where we can resize the font. So 16 should be okay. Okay, now the next thing is to hide all this, but let's just leave it for now. And we go to our reference labels, and I want to bring in the number of calls for each one of them. So first agent is selected, okay, and then we add calls. You can see here, and then we can have call answered. Okay, so calls has been added. Call answer percentage will also be added here. Okay, the resolution rate will also be added. Average speed of answer will also be added. Okay, so what next? There is something that I did here, and it's very interesting and nice to do. Let's watch this carefully. Look at this down here. So let me first, maybe I should use one card for us to see everything on the screen. Then we can play with the rest. Okay, so currently, let's just use 2 cards. So in my layout or small multiple, maximum should be 2. So you can see we have enough space for us to see the rest of the reference labels that we are adding. Now there is a line that I added, and for that I created a measure called line, and then I just pass 1 to it. That's okay. So here you go back to the reference labels. Okay, so you add this line, so you can see it here. And what I'll do is to go to the line straight, go to custom title, then I add this. Okay, so, and then I can take out the value for that one, so the one is gone. So you can see the line here. And then after that, we can select each one of them and format it. But before that, let's just go to our table again, the agent image table. Now I want to create another column. So I'll just click new column, and that column I'll just name it agent details. Okay, use my parentheses. Now I need the agent email. Okay, if I use only the agent email, look at it. You see, it's bringing the agent email, but I want to concatenate them. So I'll add agent phone. Watch this. So we need to add some space. So you can see there is a space there. I can just do it this way. Then I'll do the same thing for address. So agent address will also be fine. Okay, now I want to add some icon. So to the first one, I can do it this way. Append an icon to this. So Windows dot, then just look for email, and then we have this. Okay, you can add some space in between. And for phone number, Windows dot, just type phone, you get this. You can add some space. Okay, and then for the next one, Windows dot, and then we look for map, then you add some space. Then once done, just press enter, and then you have it this way. Okay, so now we can go back here, and what we are going to do is to add it as reference. So add the agent details as reference. Look at this. Isn't it interesting and beautiful? So now let's go and select each one of them and do a format. So let's go to first agent details, go to title, custom, and what I want to do is to take out, oh no, if I want to take it out, I don't need to do all this. Just turn off the title for that. So we have this now. Now I want to add some space to this so I can line the values on my right side. Now let's go to calls. In calls, what I need to do is just go here, custom, then go to calls, add space, press enter. You see it's not working. Add space, press enter, nothing is moving. So I just went to this website, empty characters. This is it, empty characters. Just go there. The moment you get the select text, so I copied this. This gives me an empty character I could use. So let's just clear all this. Then watch this, press. I just paste 3. You see, it's now moving. I'll paste more because I need more space. Okay. So this is okay. Let me add 2 more. That's fine. Now I'll do the same thing for call answered percentage custom. So just change this one a bit. Then I can paste, 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 and we are good. Let's go to resolution rate custom. Paste, 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 paste. This looks okay. Average speed of answer custom. Okay, let's go to the end. Paste, 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 one more. Okay, so you can see this looks good. Now let's finalize our formatting. I will make sure it is selected again. We need to hide this on the left side. So we go to small multiples header. In header, I'll select the option. I'll just rotate 90, okay, percent, 90 degree. Then I'll come to the position is already left. Now the title, what I'll do is to make it transparent. This is gone. Now the next one to do, watch it carefully. The next one to do is to hide these lines and the borders. Okay, this is looking good now. Okay, now we want this to be a grid. Okay, and then it should be cards. And I want 2 columns, 2 rows. Okay, and now you realize that while doing that, the header has moved back to the top here. So what you do is, you can see the position has changed to top. Then you go and select left again. You see, we are safe now. And the next thing we can do, let's go to reference label, take out the background. So for all, we don't want the background. So you can see this is looking good. And then we go to the callout values, make sure all is selected. You go to layout, we want to reduce it. Okay, so we can have some space down here. Now let's go to our cards, the shape rounded rectangle. Okay, we make this one 10. Okay, and what else do we need? I think we are good. And then when you click here, you can see it's bringing the next one. When you click, it's taking you to the other side. Now okay, so we can just if you go to the reference, this is too bright, so reference labels again, all is selected. Let's go to the divider, and we can make it something like this. Looks okay. Okay, and for our line, let's go and select the line again, make the color something like this, and then we can add some more just to, yeah, this should be fine. Then I can push this to the side a bit so we can have the same space on the edge. Okay, yeah, so now let's add our search. So this should be test slicer. Okay, so we are using agent name. Okay, we don't need a title, and look at what is giving us. So if I type gym, we get only gym, then I can clear. What if I want to type 2 at the same time? There is an option somewhere that you can do. Slicer settings, accept multiple values. Okay, so I'm looking for gym and done. So gym is here. I can add done, press enter, and I have gym and done. Okay, and then if I want to clear all, just clear, or you can just click here to clear all. So we have this here now. That's very good. So we can now just copy this. We go to our overview. Okay, so in our overview, I'll paste it. And the only thing we need to maintain here is just the one with the highest score. Okay, so let's go to our filter. We go to first agent. No, we can use this one, agent. Okay, basic filtering, top N, top 1. So what we need to use here is the satisfaction score, average satisfaction. Done. You see, so now what you need to do is to resize this, but it's expecting 2 cards. So what we can do is to go back to our layout and just say we need only 1 card. Okay, not here. Yes, so 1 1. So you see, we can just put it down here and check if the background is taken off, and then we also go to the card and say background off, and then probably the border also. You see, this side also, I think that one is in the title. Yeah, I think we should be good now. There is one more I need to do. Okay, so one more background should be off. Is here. So that's it, small multiple header, and the header is off. Okay, so that's it. So now we just need to add the navigation and the rest of the filtering, and at the end of it all we are going to have something as neat as this. Okay, so this is all I have for you. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and make sure you turn on the notification so that anytime I post a video, you can get it automatically. You'll be part of those who watch it first before I announce it anywhere for the rest to come and check. Okay, remember to subscribe, like, and share again. Okay, thank you. Have a nice time.